Question.
Should we consider...
Raise your hand, please. I'll call on you when you're ready. Okay, Austin.
Thank you.
No, put your hand back up. I want to hear the question. I want to hear the question before you say anything. Okay.
Should we consider dropping the cold open? It's a lot of stress, you know.
Is it? How's it a lot of stress?
Well, like, you always feel like you have to be funny. It's hard to be purposely funny.
No. Wouldn't you be that funny?
Okay. Just funny looking, I guess. Hello everyone, welcome to North No Return. I'm your host Austin, and as always, I'm joined by my fellow host Tristan.
That's not how my mom pronounced it when I was born, but it's close enough.
Doctor's like, oh, what's his name? Oh, it's little baby Christian.
That's like the meanest roar. The doctor retired.
Oh, your mom for a dinosaur. Didn't know that. That's how she got the vocal cords for that.
Yeah, umbilical cords.
Your mom was so old she get dinosaur. Yo.
What if my mother listens to this?
I am so sorry, man. You have raised a wonderful son.
What, are you flirting? Okay, dude.
Whoa. So, Tristan, want to explain what we're gonna do today?
We're gonna, in the light of like March Madness and nonsense like that, we made a chart of classic rock music, and we're gonna compare them one-on-one and see who is the ultimate and winner.
Single elimination brackets. It's gonna be awesome. We have.
No, they don't get to know. I don't want them to know.
Know what?
They don't get to know.
Anything?
That's a top secret
information. Should we be silent the whole episode?
Yep.
Okay, starting now. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, Austin, what have you listened to this last week?
Oh my goodness. What did I listen to this last week? I've been getting a lot more. That's not the right grammar.
I've
gotten more into some classic hip hop recently. Talking
like hibbity hobbity,
like
right
hip
to
hop
left.
And don't stop. No, not quite that old. No, more like Run DMC. Trying to think.
How hip hop is that though?
Notorious B.I.G.
Yeah, that's more hip hop.
Yeah.
But how hip hop is Run DMC?
They're hip hop rock. They're both.
Okay.
Yeah, I call them hip hop.
Okay.
I think.
Genre is a stupid thing. Could literally give you anything.
That's true.
If you really try hard enough, you can make anything any genre.
That's true. Yeah, but I've been liking that. It's good. Definitely a fan of. You know, it's interesting to hear. I definitely vibe more with that than modern hip hop. Like, I've never been a huge fan of hip hop in general. I'm trying to open up my horizons, right? Explore more music and stuff. And I tried to listen to the modern stuff. It was okay. I like The Weeknd a lot. That's what I came away with. That's really about it. But
he's more like a lot of his
he's not
stuff's
even really hip hop. He's more pop,
yeah.
to be honest. He's not really hip hop. He's honestly pop. But now going back in time more, I'm liking some of the more old stuff. You know, Dre, Snoop, that kind of stuff, right?
I like older stuff more. Then like I can't like new rap.
Oh, really?
Like,
I couldn't tell.
Yeah, new rap is alright. It's just I'd rather listen to like other bands.
Yeah.
Or like not even old bands, just old style bands. Another band, what is Slaughterhouse?
Slaughterhouse?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with them.
I think they're I don't think they're very popular, but it's like a group of 4 guys and they do stuff and things.
Oh. Wow.
Yep.
Very descriptive.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's about all I know about them. I don't know a lot about them. They're just alright to listen to sometimes, a little bit.
So yeah, that's what I listened to this week. What about you, Tristan? What did you listen to?
I listen to some acid jazz stuff.
Some what?
Like Jam Iroquois and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Acid jazz. It's like club jazz. It's like a mix between like jazz, soul, funk. I don't remember. I looked it up on the way here because I knew you were gonna ask me that, but it's pretty cool. I like it.
Very fun.
And then some soul too.
Some soul. Oh, I
Yeah.
like some soul. Soul's good.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite soul artist?
Leon Bridges right now, but I like Otis Redding.
Mm-hmm.
People like that.
Could you call
And Gnarls
listen
Barkley.
to it before? Would you call Stand By Me soul?
No, it's like I don't know, like bluesy soul.
Yeah.
It's just a close connection.
We listened to that before we started the podcast. It's a good song. Okay, so enough beating around the bush. Let's get to the real numbers. Let's start punching numbers and doing this bracket thing.
Oh, so I got a story.
Ooh, okay.
So I was just outside, right, fiddling around to the fiddle, and this dude dressed in all red jumped up on a stump, and he started talking to me, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, I'll play fiddle against you, and I was like, okay. And then he started playing, and it was not very good. But then there's another 8 guys jumped up from the bushes and stuff, started playing with him. I was like, this is just weird, dude. Yeah. And then so I was like, I don't even know how to play. I was just started as fast as I could, and it sounded all right. And it was just I started putting random words to it, and I won. And then he just handed me this just weird golden fiddle, but it's just painted gold. It's cheap paint. It's a $20 fiddle, and I was like, okay.
Okay.
That was a weird interaction.
Interesting story there.
Yeah, it was really weird.
I heard you were on a trip in Georgia. Is that where it happened? Happened in Georgia?
I don't know where I was.
You know where you
I kind of just drove for 18 hours straight.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can assume Georgia. I feel like that's somewhere that would happen.
Probably. There's no peaches though.
Oh.
As far as I know.
Maybe the man who sold you or gave you his fiddle was actually a peach.
Maybe.
Whoa.
It was just weird. I was like, what's happening? Yeah.
Oh, was it a hickory stump?
Dude, I don't know.
I know all about that kind of stuff, dude. If it's a hickory stump in Georgia, you're in for a good time.
I don't know about that one.
Okay.
Music time. Woo.
Music time. Woo. Woo. Should we give an overview of what all the artists in the bracket are, or should we just go with the first 2?
No. Did you know Guns N' Roses is on the top of the charts now?
They are?
Again? Yep.
For what?
Because their song was in the Thor trailer.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah. Did you see it?
No, I haven't seen it. I just heard it on the radio.
It was a decent trailer. I liked it.
What song was it? Welcome to the Jungle?
I think it. No, I don't think it was. I think it was Paradise City. I want to say.
Okay, Paradise City's close enough. It's all AC/DC, so it's okay. Okay, first one.
It's not AC/DC. It's Guns N' Roses.
I mean, that's what I meant. I'm reading AC/DC on the board. AC/DC is on the board, guys. Jimi Hendrix and the Who. I don't know if it's too hard, but it's kind of easy.
Jimi Hendrix and the Who. Okay,
Jimi Hendrix and the Who.
I don't know. It was Sweet Child of Mine. Never mind. I was wrong. I had to look it up.
Okay, Sweet Child of Mine was played on the trailer. Now we don't care about it anymore.
Well,
That's old. That's old news.
Us.
That's old news. Jimi Hendrix and the Who. That's what's up right now because Jimi Hendrix and the Who, both of them are not dead. Totally.
Yeah. Okay.
This is what's happening right now.
Yeah, I don't think this is much of a competition. Of being honest, for our first bracket, we did this all randomly. We should say the way we organized everyone together.
We picked them ourselves, but you know.
Yeah, we picked the artists ourselves. We did the organization, the seed was random. I think, should we say who we both think should win on 3?
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Jimi
Hendrix.
Yeah, Jimi Hendrix. No question.
Because he invented. Not invented, but he popularized distortion and a whole bunch of guitar stuff, and he's legendary status. The Who is cool, but with what they did, it would have happened otherwise without them. They did fast track it a bit, but I don't know.
And maybe I'm confusing the Who with the Animals, but were they similar to what the Beatles already did, or were they different? I'm trying to remember.
They came out the same time as the Beatles. They've inspired the Beatles to make harder tracks. They sang Behind Blue Eyes, Bob O'Reilly, stuff like that.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, the Who's a great band. Behind Blue Eyes, that's a good
Keith
song.
Moon is legendary. He's so cool.
But I think Jimi Hendrix overall is just the better.
Keith Moon's one of my favorite drummers actually. Even though he died really young, but he was the people that he's the one that popularized destroying everything. The Who would go on these little
they're the guys who destroy their instruments and stuff.
Yeah, but they'd go to venues that had 100 people that they can't afford. They hardly afford their guitar, and then they just start destroying everything, the amps, the guitar, and it's the manager's we can't afford any of this. It's
and Jimmy did that too. Didn't he light a guitar on fire? Right?
Yeah, but that's not the same thing.
The same thing, but it wasn't that. I think the Who played at the same venue where he did that at. I think
maybe.
I don't remember.
But no, I just remember I saw this one and they just absolutely destroyed everything. And it's that's how you. That
means they're having a good time.
Yeah, well, yeah. Even they can't afford it. I don't know how they got popular. It's you can't afford anything. You can't afford a record label at that point.
Okay, so I agree. Jimi Hendrix is going on to face whatever the next challenge is going to be.
Old guitar man himself.
The next bracket we have is AC/DC versus Guns N' Roses. 2, I'd say, similar bands. I mean, they aren't the exact same.
They're not even the same decade.
Yeah, but I think they sound somewhat similar in the way they sound.
Okay.
Really? You disagree with that?
I do.
Really? Okay.
Australian. One of them's harder than the other one in the aspect of, sounding harder.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, if you look at, if we skip over Appetite for Guns N' Roses and we go to like Use Your Illusion, they're definitely more diverse.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If we listen to,
I guess I was thinking more Appetite, Guns N' Roses.
if we listen to anything from the 13 albums of AC/DC, they're all the same song.
Mhm.
It's just one
I
very
know you're not
long
a big
song.
fan of AC/DC.
I don't mind AC/DC,
But
just
what I will
they
say,
never bring out anything.
in defense of them, is they didn't necessarily innovate anything crazily new, but they took what was already popular. I think put a cool spin on it. Like I think their songs do sound pretty similar. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to think, like Back in Black and Dirty Deeds Done Cheap have the exact same opening chords. I think, if I remember correctly. Like their music sounds so samey, but it sounds good. It sounds like good, like hard rock.
This is coming from the guy that likes Imagine Dragons, so.
Well, you know what?
No, I'd say Guns N' Roses, but it's not very close. Just because they have some diversity. It's not like they brought anything new either.
Mm-hmm.
But you could listen to one album and the next album would be completely different.
That's true, and I would agree. Even though I like AC/DC, Guns N' Roses
I
definitely beats
do
them
think both these guys are very overrated.
Because if you like hard rock, you got Appetite, obviously. If you want something a little more
Ballady.
interesting, a little more complex, you got like the later
More like a
albums, you got
ballad.
Use
Yeah,
Your
but
Illusion.
Here's
What's the one with?
Use Your Illusion 1, Use Your Illusion 2, The Spaghetti Incident.
Is it something about the news or something like? That's an album name.
I don't know. It's Guns N' Roses.
Maybe confused.
The thing is, these are both very overrated bands. If they came out any other time than they did, they would not have been popular. I don't think so. Because AC/DC, the music they have is so like barbaric compared to like 10 years later.
But sometimes it's fun to have that barbaric nature. It's kind of cool.
Well, I
to
know,
be
but like there's so yeah, that's why people listen. That's why people listen to punk. Listen to punk. Don't listen to AC/DC.
I don't know.
No, I don't mind AC/DC. I'll listen to them, but it's like I don't listen to a lot of other things. I think Guns N' Roses, if they came out any other time, because they came out like around like when grunge and like not grunge.
Well, Guns N' Roses kind of came out towards
they
the
came out
end
like
of acid
right
rock,
after
start
like
of punk.
no, they came out right after like glam metal.
Yep.
So no, not glam. No. They came out. They
came out
started
during glam metal.
Yeah,
they kind
but
of
no.
started it off, right?
Yeah, they came out like right after like nerd stuff. People thought like everybody that like was a rock fan was like, oh, this stuff, I don't like any of this new music. And then Guns N' Roses comes on, they're like, oh, this band's like the greatest band ever. So if they came out any other time, they'd just be like a subpar band.
Well, like
probably.
with punk and Guns N' Roses is similar to punk in a way because I think after stuff like bands like Pink Floyd, that kind of stuff, there's that rejection of more complex rock. Like,
I'm not
back
saying
to
that,
rock
guys.
being
Dude,
more.
have you ever listened to punk? Like,
no, I'm
Punk's
not.
like-
They're two different genres of music. Guns N' Roses is rock, punk is punk, right? But what I'm saying is, I think it's similar in the way that punk was kind of that rejection of music should just be about the music. It shouldn't be about all this complex ideology, all these ideas. It should just be music. I think Guns N' Roses is the same thing too, where they were like, rock doesn't have to be about like depression or whatever, right? They were talking about they just wanted to play music that sounded cool. You know what I mean?
well, but they've had. I mean, there's already bands like that.
Yeah, but Guns N' Roses I think maybe did it best. They're the most popular that I can think of from
The Who
glam
did
metal.
that.
Yeah,
And like,
guess.
it's not every song is like not every song has to be like intrinsically.
Intrusive? That's not a word.
No, it's not. It's like what is it called when you like look into yourself?
Introspective.
Well, no, that's okay. That's a word for it. I was thinking of a different one. But like the Who did all this like yeah. Something like that.
mean looking inside yourself, does it?
But the Who was like just like the listen to music.
Mm-hmm.
And other than some of their songs are more ballady, but like then you have like even the Beatles, early Beatles stuff is literally just like pop garbage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Guns N' Roses wins. We both agree on that. I wouldn't say Guns N' Roses is overrated. I'm a big fan of Guns N' Roses.
I think they're both very overrated.
We can agree to disagree.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we have Pink.
Two overrated bands again.
What?
Pink Floyd and Metallica.
Okay, I have issues with you saying they're both overrated. Maybe you could argue Metallica's overrated.
Very overrated. Pink Floyd.
There is no way Pink Floyd is overrated.
How many good albums are there? Like how many like phenomenal albums did they release? How many like really good albums did they release? Want me to give you fingers?
Two.
Two.
But I wouldn't.
No, I mean they're really good, but like people sell them for like the best band of all time.
But they sound so good.
They're very
like,
creative. They're very cool. I like listening to them, but like they're not like the greatest band of all time.
No, I'm not saying the greatest band of all time.
That's
but
what
are they
people say,
one of
though.
the best bands of all time? Yes, they are. I would put number 1, top 5, no question.
I would not, but okay.
Really?
No.
I'm a big Pink Floyd fan, man.
Okay, yeah, but they're still overrated. People wear their shirts still. and
I
it's
guess like the whole
they-
dark side of the shirt is like a huge thing that
I
people
mean,
wear.
yeah,
Big part of
like-
rock culture. I don't know about really.
The Wall and Dark Side's like the only two albums that they have. Like Wish You Were Here is like okay.
Wish You Were Here is really good.
Well, I mean, but
Dark
it's like
Side's really good. The Wall is really good.
Metal is not very good.
mm,
Metal's like a weird one. Umaguma. That one's not like people don't even know these guys. Animals, people like act like these are like the greatest things of all time, but there's only like 2 or 3 albums are known usually. And it's like, no, I'm not saying anything bad. I like Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd's like one of my favorite bands of all time still, but it's like I'm not gonna sit here and say they're not overrated. I think probably just about every band on this thing's overrated.
I guess
Except for, like,
you can
maybe,
actually
like,
call
2.
anything overrated, but I don't know, man.
No, you don't have to agree. I'm just saying, like, I think they're overrated.
I'm just looking now on their page, and like they have so many good. Sure, maybe it's only off 3 albums, but there's so many of them are all bangers. Like Another Brick in the Wall, Wish You Were Here, Comfortably Numb, Money, Time.
Yeah, but you can't listen to a best of for Pink Floyd. You have to listen to the whole album.
I know, but I'm
through.
saying just look at the songs. Like, there's only 3 good albums, but they're all bangers. Like they don't miss. Like you know what I mean? Like
What are the 3 good albums?
I'd say Wish You Were Here.
What? Give me 3 songs on Wish You Were Here.
Wish You Were
No,
Here.
no, don't look at it. Give me 3 songs that I Wish You Were Here.
Okay, Wish You Were Here is a bad one. That's hard. Wish You Were Here.
It has a good song. There's a few good songs in there. It's not a good
Yeah,
album
fine.
completely.
Let me do Another Brick in the Wall. I can say that one.
Okay, give me
Another
3
Brick in the
songs.
Wall Part 1. Another Brick in the Wall Part 2.
Three.
Another Brick in the Wall Part 3.
Okay, no,
That's
Dark
3
Side.
songs.
Don't look.
Comfortably Numb. That's off of that. Dark Side. You got Money, Time. Come on, Austin.
Us and Them.
I'm looking. I'm cheating.
I just said Us and Them, but I mean, so
Us
like,
and Them. Yeah.
okay, then well, you should talk
Oh,
about
The Great Dick in
Metallica.
the Sky. I like that. It's a good one.
Talk about Metallica.
Metallica.
Yeah.
Okay, Metallica. We're talking about Pink Floyd. Metallica. Okay, you said they're overrated.
Yep.
I can maybe agree with that. I don't agree with Pink Floyd. I'd maybe elaborate. Why are they overrated?
Because they're overrated.
Why?
They're not very good musicians, and people act like they're the best.
You know what? That's mean to say, but I kind of agree
Dude,
to
have
some
you listened to
level.
the drumming on some of those tracks?
Yeah. Well, actually,
Like Lars.
drumming's okay. I wouldn't say it's bad. I
Okay.
would say the bass could be better. But
Lars Ulrich, dude, no man, he's the drummer. I don't think he's very good. And then like, even like Hetfield, all he does is downstrokes and like the 3 power chords. If you learn 3 power chords, you can play like 80% of Metallica.
it suffers from the same problem that AC/DC does, where it's very samey.
I mean, there's some stuff I really like. Like I like.
Really, their only good album I feel like is "And Justice for All." You maybe argue.
And
the
they have
Black
Master
album.
of Puppets.
Master
too.
of Puppets is good.
It's okay. Then they have like a few give and take songs here and there.
And my issue is, this is not like popular opinion. This is probably weird of me to say this. I don't like the Black album and like the slowed down Metallica. Like what I do like is like Master of Puppets
Yeah.
or Justice for All, where it's the very.
What about Lulu? Do you like Lulu?
I don't know what that is. I'm sorry.
They did a collab with Lou Reed, and it's just the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good.
Okay, which way move to the next guy?
Well, she was winning. I think.
Oh, Pink Floyd
right,
wins.
obviously.
Sorry guys, I thought
it's
you
not
knew
good.
that.
Okay, not a question. Unfortunately, the C kind of put like things that win easily over the other thing.
Well, I don't think there's a few bands Metallica would have beat for me. Here.
Now it could be AC/DC, no question. Other than
Okay,
that,
Queen and the Stones.
Okay,
of
this
the rolling
is,
variety.
This is an interesting discussion here. I think I don't know right now who I'd pick. I have to think about this.
I'm not gonna say it, but it might still be both overrated.
Shut up! You think everything? What are you, some hipster? You think everything's overrated?
No, I don't think Jimi Hendrix is overrated.
Well, that's weird. Okay, let's talk about Queen first. What we got going for Queen? We got. They did.
They
did.
did Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yep. They did Can't Stop Me Now. I like that song. They did News of the World, which is an album. That's a good album.
That's with a robot.
Yeah, the scary robot.
Not scary. A Night at the Night at the Opera. Day at the Race, a Night at the Opera.
Ooh, have you ever heard the sped up version of Bohemian Rhapsody?
No. Have you ever heard Innuendo?
No.
Okay. So if we're talking about, I don't know, like, you got Freddie Mercury, who's a cool frontman.
Yep.
And then you got Brian May, who's a good guitar player. You got Roger Taylor, who's a good drummer. You got John Deacon, who's a bassist. I do like John Deacon, but they did get him in the band just so he wouldn't make a big scene. Like, they literally just got like the most undertone bassist they could
Wait
get.
a second.
He's good. He's really smart.
I'm looking up right now. Bohemian Rhapsody is not off News of the World. I am
it's
shocked.
Night at the Opera.
How did I not know that? I thought I just assumed it was off that album.
And like
so
for
dumb.
me, a lot of Queen and stuff I'll listen to, but like if I really want to get into it, it's a lot of give and take.
So for me, when I first got into rock music, I listened to a lot of Queen. I'm trying to think like No One Bites the Dust, We Will Rock You.
That's a cool one. That's an alright one.
Killer Queen.
That's a cool one. That's
We're
really
the
cool
Champions. Like that's what I listened to a lot when I was little.
See, those just the 3 songs are just stadium rock songs, which it's cool, but it's like if I'm listening to it,
Fat
for,
Bottom
like,
Girls, that's a good one.
I don't care for that one much.
Yeah.
But so I mean, let's just say that Bohemian Rhapsody is obviously the biggest song, and then like, you know, it's really good, really well layered, really well produced. You know, like a pretty crazy. It has like 3 different songs in one, and then we have the Stones, who did a ton of stuff in the '60s, lived till the 2020s, and still don't really do anything new.
There's just one problem with the Stones.
They can't die.
I don't like the way their music sounds.
Oh really?
That simple. I just can. I can admit they're a good band.
It's like
I
British
just don't
blues
enjoy
inspired.
their.
I do like the blues inspired stuff.
I don't know.
And
man.
Mick Jagger's a cool front man.
He is cool, but still, I don't know. Like I just genuinely don't enjoy
Keith
their
Richards
music.
is never gonna die. We can say Queen.
Paint It Black is like the only song that I can stand. Other than that, yeah, I think I would go with Queen.
We said Queen because Austin hates the Stones and any kind of music.
Well, okay.
They have a whole newspaper named after them. I'd say Queen, I guess, but still.
Yeah, like Stones are good. I can admit that, like,
I think
logically Stones are a good band. I just personally don't
I think
enjoy the music.
Stones did more for music though.
Yeah, maybe. Well,
Okay. The Beatles or the BH Boys?
The Beatles or the Beach Boys? Tale as old as time. No, it's not.
I know it.
There's a clear winner, obviously.
Yeah.
But let's at least obviously Beatles win. But let's give it a second to talk about it, right? Let's talk about Beach Boys first because they did some cool stuff too.
Beach Boys are surf rock. Then they did some cool stuff, and then
They died.
They went crazy.
Yeah. So that's cool.
Brian Wilson went completely crazy. They made Kokomo.
Mm-hmm.
Good Vibrations.
Good Vibrations is good.
And Pet Sounds.
And Pet Sounds.
That's about all.
What I will say, I think Beach Boys could have been the Beatles. You know what I mean? Like they could,
No.
they hadn't gone crazy. I feel like they could have done.
No.
Maybe not quite as much, but they were on that track. They started out pop.
I very disagree with you.
Really?
Because they were surf rock, not pop. Surf
Yeah, but
rock,
it
which
was-
very little people listen to.
But not today, sure. But
No, back then, not a lot. I mean, people that surfed listened.
They were pretty. I don't know, man.
No, they're popular, but they're not. Nothing
they were on the top charts for
But
a
the
long
Beatles
time.
did like what did Beach Boys do after Pet Sounds? And the only reason
that's what I'm saying.
But the only
they
reason-
kept going after Pet Sounds, but they
well,
did.
they still had more. They still had albums
Yeah,
like
but
Smiley Smile.
They lost steam because again they went crazy. You know.
Well, he was going. I mean, he didn't go completely crazy yet. And then they still had other members in the band.
Yeah.
So they had like one superb member,
imagine
but if
if,
you
like
the Beatles had
imagine if halfway through the Beatles John died, would the Beatles still be as good as they are today?
no, they wouldn't be as good, but they'd still be good because they got 3 geniuses there.
Well, the
two and a
Beatles were
half.
still good. They just weren't as good. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but you just said they could be the next Beatles, and the only reason they
That's
did
what-
any of this stuff, the only reason you said they did any of this stuff was because of the Beatles.
What? No, the Beach Boys were first.
Yeah, but Pet Sounds is inspired by Beatles, and then Pet Sounds inspired Beatles.
Yeah, but
It's
like,
a loop. It's the artistic loop.
I guess no. I'm not trying to say that Beach Boys are as good as Beatles.
No, but I
I'm
think-
making the argument that they are.
You're giving them too much credit, I think. They have
I
one
just
good
don't
album.
like Good
that-
Vibrations. Let me listen to my song in peace.
No, I love Good Vibrations. It's an awesome song, you know. I know all about that song, but it's like Good Vibrations doesn't. I mean, like that one song doesn't compare to 5 albums by the Beatles.
And I would agree with that. Yeah, Beatles are better. I agree with you on that. I'm just saying that what the Beach Boys had, if they had capitalized on it correctly, I think they could have been a lot better than they actually are. I think they had potential.
They could have been a lot more popular.
All I'm saying is they had potential.
They could have been a lot more popular, but I don't think they would ever meet to what the Beatles did.
Maybe
Experimentally
quite,
and everything.
I think they could have gotten close. I feel like they had some stuff going for them.
I think they could probably get close to this band, the Stones.
The Stones? Oh, sure, yeah.
Maybe. But it's like, I mean, with a band, you shouldn't just be relying on one guy if you want to be the biggest band of all time.
Yeah, that's true. The Beatles made it, but they had all 4.
They had like 3.5 guys.
I don't even really talk about what the Beatles win. I mean, we talk about the Beatles definitely.
Yeah, the Beatles are cool. They do cool things, and they have a lot of albums. They have some like really bad.
Listen to our artistly albums, the Beatles. You want to learn more about the Beatles?
They got a lot of bad like pop garbage in the beginning, which is still alright for its time.
It wasn't even that bad. You know, I mean, for old
it's
pop,
just very boring.
Yeah, boring.
And then the Beach Boys have like some mediocre surf rock.
For surf rock, it was the best of surf rock. Well, maybe the best of surf rock isn't that good, but it was the best of surf rock.
Okay, and then they had one good album and 2 other songs out of the album.
Yeah.
And then everything else is just like, oh, okay, Beach Boys.
Yeah. I guess. All right.
Okay, then we got David Bowie and Black Sabbath.
Black Sabbath. Okay.
And what Black Sabbath are we going through?
So it's funny.
Because we can stay
talking about different Black Sabbaths. Because you like when Ozzy left. I like when Ozzy was still part of the band.
Yeah, because we could say the first part. There's like because there's 3 artists in Black Sabbath.
It's one band though, man. I think I put it all together, the good and the bad.
Well, no, I don't. I mean, I think it's just unfair to have like 2 leads, 2 frontmen for one guy. It's a single guy.
I guess.
So I think it should be either Ozzy or Dio. We should probably go Ozzy because that's around the same time. And Dio, I think, would blow him out of the water. So.
Person's too biased to Dio.
Well, dude, have you listened to the album Heaven and Hell? It's like one of Dio's best works.
I don't think I have.
Definitely, it's definitely
Dio's single stuff.
It's definitely Iommi's best work. Like, he's an alright guitar player. He just has a gimmick. Like, the main reason he got as popular as he is because he has the Iommi sound because his fingers are literally tipless. He has like prosthetic tips, and then like. Geezer's a cool dude, bass player, but like I think it's just so some stuff that Ozzy does is so boring because all he does is sings the bass line. It sounds cool, but it's just so boring. It's like it's like Iron Man. I am Iron Man. You're literally just singing the bass line. Like you're not going over, you're not going around, you're not going like with you're going with it. So it's like what you should do. But
Iron Man is, I'd say, sort of from that problem where it's being a little bit not flat, but I hear you saying where it's going on the bass line. But like thinking about the next song, Paranoid, off Paranoid, that's a pretty good song. I feel like it definitely has that heavy metal sound to it.
But it's definitely it influenced heavy metal. They pioneered heavy metal, but it's still going on the bass line. Think about it.
I guess I'm not gonna think how the song goes in my head right now. I'm like
witches gather in their masses.
Well, I know the song. I'm thinking
or no, whatever.
Like, it's not. Wait, is that part of this?
It's not. Well, that's not the little lyric, but it's just like that.
Couldn't help me with my mind. People think I'm in shape. Should sing on the podcast. But okay, let's come back to Black Sabbath. Let's put a pin in that, right? Let's move to Bowie real quick. Bowie, the weird spaceman.
Dude, he did so much stuff.
Yeah.
Like, we're separating the art from the artist.
Mm-hmm.
For both of them, actually.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the art is definitely a lot better with Bowie. It's a lot more.
One band pioneered metal. One band created art, and pioneered.
It's like a lot of art rock, glam rock, and then he still did a lot of stuff, and they never had to kick him out of the band. He was his own thing.
Yeah.
He actually, I mean, like now I'm going back to the art, but the artist, but it's like Ozzy got kicked out of the band, and they had to have replacements that some people say aren't as good, but it's like, what are you gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
Bowie, Bowie has, you can literally pick any song, and there's something new in it.
Yeah. Well, can I get your opinion? I know you're a big fan of like progressive or influential art kind of style of music, right? What do you think of this whole like Ziggy Stardust, right?
Yeah, the whole story thing.
Talk about that a bit. What do you think about that?
It's cool. You know, it's like who did it first? I think the Who did it first with Tommy, but it never became a fully like idolized or fully done thing, you know.
Whereas he kind of fully committed to the bit.
Yeah, he did the whole thing, and then like he even has like the the Black Duke or the Dark. What is that one called? The something like that. The Thin Duke.
Yep.
Later on in life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like that's not this era, but he did all that stuff. And it's just like I think it's just really creative, and he added a lot more than Black Sabbath did. I think.
I definitely think it's cool the whole idea of having a persona that you play as, as your character.
Yeah.
You're not performing as David Bowie, you're performing as the Ziggy character.
And I just can't get past Ozzy because he's not a great singer. He sounds good, but he's just technically not a good singer. He ate a bat on stage, and he does the peace signs.
Yeah.
That's his shtick.
And I kind of like the way he sounds. I mean, if I'm being honest, it could be different taste, you know what I mean? Like,
well, I know he sounds cool, but it's like, just technically...
Have you heard Crazy Train? That stream in the beginning is so cool.
It's not even... Yeah, but okay.
It's not Black Sabbath.
Let's just not even talk about frontmen right now. Well, we're not going to talk about...
Let's look
Black
at their
Sabbath.
accomplishments. What'd they do? Black Sabbath, like I said, between Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin, they pioneered metal, right? Black Sabbath was dark metal.
Well, yeah, you still got, like, Judas Priest still in that time, Deep Purple was in that time.
Yeah, but let's be honest, the big ones were Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath.
Well,
Judas Priest was important.
No, nowadays they are. But back then, there was a multiple, like, they're not the only two bands people knew about.
Yeah, but, like, after looking back on that time from now, what do we remember? Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin.
Deep Purple?
Really?
Dude, Deep Purple's awesome.
They are, but dude...
Richie Blackmore? Dude,
if I go to a random guy in the street and say, hey, you heard of Deep Purple? He's probably going to say no. I say, have you heard of Black Sabbath? He might also say no.
Exactly.
He'll say yes more times than he'll say yes to Deep Purple.
You know but like, there's definitely something to be said that Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath.
I can maybe see Judas Priest being important too, because they had.
They're all important, but it's like, if we look back at like the Sieve of Time, like how everything only the good stuff stays around. Mm-hmm. You miss out at so much. Like even those 4 bands, there's like hundreds of bands that have started metal. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just these bands; are the only popular bands.
You could even argue.
There could be a lot of better bands.
Who did Heavy Metal Thunder? Who was that? Steppenwolf. You can argue Steppenwolf was important to metal. They are, but like, I'm saying is, I'd agree that obviously there's so many bands that influence a genre I'm making. When you're making a new genre of music, there's gonna be tons of bands that influence that. But when you look back on it, who are the most important people in that process? I
don't think you can pick the most important people. Because they're all inspired by somebody else, so if like one single person
isn't that what we're doing here? Are we picking the most important people on our
we're picking our favorites.
I guess.
Pretty much.
Well, picking favorites, I like Black Sabbath more than I like Bowie, but Bowie's a better artist. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to sway you.
I guess.
But even like the members of the band aren't amazing.
Yeah.
Tony Iommi has some cool guitar riffs, but like his playing's not like phenomenal. And then Geezer is
Which is the guy who doesn't have his fingertips?
That's Iommi, Tony.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, but it's kind of, like that guy, he's smart, like, and if you listen to his stuff with, I just think his stuff with Dio was a lot better. Mm-hmm. That band was I think it's just so much better. It's like that's when you see like the whole, you can see like they're all them working together. But
even though I enjoy Black Sabbath, listening to it more than I enjoy, listening to Bowie, I consider that Bowie's a better artist. You know what I mean? And that he did more for music, so I think we should just say Bowie wins. Would you agree with that?
I do.
You do?
Unless we're talking about Dio Black Sabbath. And then, but what about Tony Martin Black Sabbath?
Who cares about that? Dio and
exactly. Who cares about Tony Martin's alright, but he's released an album this year, I think.
Mm-hmm. But, okay, I'm looking forward to this next two. Let me introduce it. 2 of my all-time favorite bands are the next 2. And I can't pick one already. I can't decide. It's Led Zeppelin and Rush.
One of them is Canadian. One of them is
British.
English, yeah. But I was trying to think where they came from. I can't think though. I don't know.
I think Rush came from maybe Ontario. Maybe.
Yep. Except for, so we got Alex Lifeson, who's a guitar player for Rush. We got Geddy Lee, who is also he's awesome. The bassist for Rush and the Russian singer. And then you got you ready for this? Mm-hmm. Neil Peart. For Rush, he's the drummer. Mm-hmm. He is the genius behind the band.
He is Neil Peart.
Then you got Jimmy Page. Mm-hmm. Then you got
amazing artist. I love Jimmy Page. His hair is so cool.
John Paul Jones.
One of the best bassists of all time. One of my all-time heroes.
Are we talking about like
in heavy metal?
No, but for bassists, are we talking about like skill-wise best bassist?
Just like in general, I like his personality, what he was into and stuff.
I don't know if he's the best. Skill-wise, I don't think he's the best.
Maybe not.
Not very close.
But
not very close.
He was crazy. He has. Doesn't he have a doctorate? I think in something.
I don't know.
He's crazy smart. I'm looking.
Well, look at Brian May for Queen.
Okay, fine, yeah, but I'm just talking
Okay,
about the
and
band
then
we're
we
in.
got Robert Plant for Led Zeppelin, for the singer, and then you also got the drummer who's John Bonham. Just like 4 very talented guys. Versus 3 very talented guys.
Mm-hmm.
I put all their initials by their band name.
Cool.
For no reason.
I want to see what I think John Paul Jones had a master in something. I want to look it up.
Okay, who did all the music?
Doctorate.
Who did all the music for the bands?
I'm looking up something.
Who wrote? Okay, so like Neil Peart wrote all the lyrics and everything. Like he's the cool dude, and then John Paul Jones wrote all like the stuff for Led Zeppelin, and like lyrics and like stuff like that. But he wrote like the bass line and like I think he's the only person in the band that was classically trained. I think he's the only person that knew actually how to do stuff. Because like Jimmy Page would be like, this sounds good. Let's do this. And John Bonham's, like just like I mean they're all very talented, but there's definitely something to be said about knowing how to play. Like when they did Kashmir, Jimmy Page could not for the life of him like get it down, like get the whole thing of Kashmir down. And John Paul Jones was like, dude, we're gonna do it like this. And but you talk about Rush, they all know how to do this stuff, And like their lyrics are like very like heavily book inspired. But like what Ayn Rand, however you pronounce her name. The Atlas Shrugged, and like a ton of that other stuff, like Tom Sawyer and all that stuff. Yeah. Tom Sawyer because the song is named after Tom Sawyer, but
I'm because like when you look at both bands, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking obviously the musicians who are part of them are a huge deal, but I'm thinking about the songs like listen to what I enjoy listening to, right? Led Zeppelin, one of my all favorite metal bands. I absolutely love metal.
You use metal very loosely.
Are you trying to say that Led Zeppelin's not metal?
Well, I'd say maybe
because they aren't like
I'd say maybe at one point they were, but I wouldn't consider them anything close to metal anymore.
They aren't like death. They aren't like death metal. Like rah, 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 rah. They aren't Metallica metal. You know what I mean? But metal is a huge genre of music. I mean,
no, I know, but like
you should look up. This is for the audience at home. Dude, look up map of metal. It's a cool like flow chart that shows all different kinds of metal, right? There's so many different kinds of metal that you can have. They're light metal, so it's not gonna be like.
No, I know, but like then I mean, just maybe when they came out they're metal, but I would not like if somebody said name your top 100,000 favorite metal bands, Led Zeppelin would not be there.
Really, you wouldn't classify them as metal?
Dude, they're like classic rock.
I want to Google and see if they have like a genre like the Google list them as. Let's see here, Led Zeppelin. Look this up.
Well, I mean, okay, so if you consider Led Zeppelin metal, then like, what do they do? Like, they don't really have hard sounds.
Wikipedia defines them. Okay, here, no, this is.
Hey, what's the hardest sound they had?
Wait, this is from Wikipedia. It defines them. So Wikipedia is very reputable. Defines it as hard rock, blues rock, folk rock, or heavy metal.
Heavy metal, that's like something crazy.
And I wouldn't call it heavy. I call it metal, not heavy metal. Like I said, heavy metal is different.
I mean, I just don't consider stuff like that metal. Like metal to me has always been like you gotta have a lot of stuff moving. Mm-hmm. With them, there's like a lot of their songs are just so slow.
But
like
it's
so open,
crunchier and heavier than just normal rock. Like compare them to
what song's really like crunchy and heavier? Because I mean, like we consider the
Immigrant Song. You could that's.
Maybe, but like the Who at one point was like the heaviest thing. And think about them nowadays.
Yeah.
You would not consider them being anything close to metal. Like,
well, you just say that we're looking at this from the time they were in, right? Time they were in, they were definitely metal.
Yeah,
they were like the metalist metal band.
Yeah, but I wouldn't go too far to classify them as metal. Even back then.
I don't know, man.
Because back then you still all like you still Mayhems back then.
Let's not categorize them as metal. They still founded the metal genre with Black Sabbath. You know what I mean?
You give Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath a lot of credit for that.
Name another band that was as influential. There were other bands, no question. Judas Priest.
No, they don't need to be as influential, but like every other band, like they had like probably like 3% in the whole thing. There's millions of death metal was a huge thing in Switzerland, Sweden at this point.
Come over till afterwards. Like,
but still metal. Like I mean, they still heard about it.
But when metal was invented in the U.S., it was
Led Zeppelin. Now you had to add stuff. So
okay, fine. Because I guess Led Zeppelin wasn't even a U.S. band. They were
neither of them were U.S. bands.
Yeah. But I don't know.
Even
man.
the Who wasn't USB. So I mean, like, there was like, because death metal, dark metal, black metal were already things before these guys came.
Yes, but they weren't popular till these guys came. It's like the Beatles. Pop music already existed before the Beatles.
Well, okay, but it was still.
But what made pop music popular again? The Beatles.
Dude, music was always popular.
I guess.
The Beatles did not make pop popular. The Beatles did not make popular music popular.
Okay,
You give them too much credit.
Fair
dude.
enough, fair enough. Fine, then how about, let's go back a bit then. What's another band we picked? Pink Floyd. Boom. They didn't invent synthesized sound, but they made it popular. They made that cool. That's why we give Pink Floyd like the credit for synthesized sound.
Yeah, but they did invent a lot of stuff though. You gotta think, like, I mean, like.
Yeah, sure, but synthesized sound already existed. It's already a thing.
But people don't give them credit just for synthesized.
But that's like the main
sound.
thing to think about when you think about Pink Floyd. I would say.
I wouldn't.
Really?
I think like how they bring you on trips and stuff. Like, there's not a lot of bands that had a full length album that you listen to as a story.
Yeah, that's a good point. But.
They had like the psych rock. They.
Okay, look. Talk about Led Zeppelin's death. All we really argue actually about the metal. Let's go back to metal. Let's talk about their songs real quick. Like,
Stairway.
We could
you can't not talk about
Stairway is
Stairway.
the best Led Zeppelin song. Or maybe not the best, but the most influential. You know what I mean?
Going to California with the mandolin.
The whole when it was a story
mandolin,
and a song. You know what I mean? Also, it's Lord of the Rings inspired, which is like one of my favorite
So is Ramble On.
bits of media ever. So that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Ramble On.
I mean, a lot of their stuff's good, but like.
Was Stairway inspired by Lord of the Rings? Or am I just thinking Ramble On?
Yeah.
Because Ramble On was very inspired by Lord of the Rings.
Ramble On and Stairway.
Stairway was? I couldn't remember. I know for sure Ramble On is. Ramble On's a good song too. They got Immigrant Song, obviously. That's awesome. That's like, that was in Thor the other day.
Overplayed.
Overplayed.
Overplayed at this point.
That was, I think I said this on the podcast already, but fun fact, Immigrant Song was the first rock song I ever heard. That's kind of cool. Actually, no, that's not true. Second rock song I ever heard. First rock song I ever heard was We Will Rock You from Queen. Then it was Immigrant Song. Okay, but let's talk about Rush for a minute. Now, here's my other favorite band, Rush.
The thing is, so they all have something else other than the music too.
Mm-hmm.
Like Neil Peart. Well, I guess Neil Peart was just like
Neil Peart's cool,
awesome and legendary and like the coolest guy ever. And then Geddy Lee. Neil Peart has like he had like a huge car collection.
Oh, that's cool.
Geddy Lee has a huge bass collection.
Mm-hmm.
And then Alex Lifeson's like one of the best friends with the guys on Trailer Park. So Trailer Park Boys. So he's like on that show every once in a while.
What did Rush do? Let's talk about Rush. They did synthesized sound like Pink Floyd.
They never got popular. That's what they did. They never got like nearly as popular as anybody else.
They're pretty similar to Pink Floyd because
Keep
don't
going.
make that look at me.
Keep going.
Let me back up the facts. Pink Floyd, synthesized sound. Rush, synthesized sound. They're both considered prog rock. They're both prog rock bands. And finally, both of them had full-length albums that tell a cohesive story. Pink Floyd had The Wall, Rush had 2112. Boom. That's already more or less similar. That's a very good argument. That's three major similarities right there. You think they're not at all similar? They're completely two opposite
No,
sides
they're
of
similar,
music.
but like they're not.
I'm not saying they're the exact same band, but you can compare them, can't you?
I don't know. They're definitely different genres. You got like psych rock over here, and you got like just like
Okay, I could say Pink Floyd is psych / prog rock, but
they're psych
Pink
rock.
Floyd's definitely something. They're definitely
they're prog rock, but they're definitely psych rock. They're
Yes.
psych rock before prog rock.
okay, fine. Yes, I'll give you that. They're psych rock before they're prog rock, but they're still both prog rock.
But yeah, okay. So is King Crimson like them then? Jethro Tull, are they like them?
But those aren't as popular.
They're still prog rock.
Okay, fine. Sure, they're similar. I guess. I don't know.
I mean, just one genre doesn't make this band the same as the other one.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. But you know what makes them similar? I'm not saying they're the same, but you know what makes them similar? Both having albums that are concept albums that tell a cohesive story. That's pretty similar. Both heavy use of synthesizers. That makes them similar. You can't say they're not similar.
Well, okay, but everybody uses synthesizers. I mean,
Beatles use synthesizers.
There's a million bands that use synthesizers.
AC/DC use synthesizers.
There's a billion bands that use synthesizers.
Okay,
so
fine.
majority, like there's infinite bands. There's
But
like
it's not crazy to compare them.
no, it's not. No, that's exactly what we're doing here. But it's
Yeah.
like I wouldn't compare them too crazily.
No, I'm not saying they're the same thing by any means. I'm just saying that they are similar bands. Can we agree on that? Maybe?
They're in the same era of music. Yep.
Okay, fine.
Okay, but
Ever heard of a heel in wrestling?
a heel,
Yeah.
like the bottom of your foot,
No.
like a healing potion,
Nope.
like a heel.
No, it's like in WWE.
When you stop.
You know what a heel is?
No.
It's like the villain. The guy who always, like, fights against the protagonist.
Yeah.
I think Kristen's being a heel because he's not agreeing with any of my opinions.
Why are you the protagonist here? Well, Led Zeppelin or Rush?
Because I have, like, what's it called? What's, like, that really bad syndrome when you, like, think you're awesome?
It's called egotisticality.
Yes, that. Yeah. I'm very mentally ill.
Okay, we're gonna say Led Zeppelin.
We are?
You want to
Really?
say Rush?
I wasn't talking about Rush yet. By a yard.
Okay, well talk about Rush then.
Okay,
Let me listen.
always did was compare them to Pink Floyd, which you apparently didn't like that very much. Rush, okay, they have some of the coolest sounding music out there, all the synthesized sound and stuff. It's very, like, I want to say zany.
You're
That's what I
very
have for it.
into the synthesized stuff.
I am. That's what I like to listen to. That's what I enjoy listening to. We're talking about our favorite music, right? Honestly, again, I thought I'm going back to what I did with Bowie, where I like Rush better than Led Zeppelin. Yeah, I think Led Zeppelin did more for music. I think Led Zeppelin wins. I actually like Spear of the Radio. That album is so good. Fly By Night.
Are you talking about your favorite one yet?
My favorite one,
Permanent Waves.
Permanent Waves. That is one of my all-time favorite Rush albums, and now I'm not blanking on why I like so much. I gotta look it up to see if the songs are on it, because
No, I do really like Rush, but
Why is it not coming out?
they're a lot different too. But like I think Led Zeppelin, if like
Led Zeppelin wins, I guess, but don't sit out on my boy Rush. I'm sad they're getting kicked out first round. Like,
no, I
Rush
mean I
is-
usually say I do think Rush. I think if anything, Rush is underrated too.
Thank you. Whoa, just to call it something underrated.
I said, what did I say was underrated? I said something
Nothing.
else was underrated. I said Beach Boys was underrated and Bowie was
These
underrated.
Beach Boys were overrated.
No, wait, no. I thought.
Okay, whatever.
Maybe I just thought in my brain.
Last two, Jefferson Airplane and The Doors. Jefferson Airplane. We can move on.
Okay, but The Doors. People think this guy's a poet.
Doors are
And-
not bad.
Can you just pretend you want The Doors to win here? Just explain
Okay.
why you like The Doors.
I think Jim Morrison had some cool ideas. I think that I respect him for not letting people censor his music, for singing what he believed in, even though I don't necessarily agree with what he believed in, but I applaud him, being brave and singing what he believed in. That was kind of cool. Also, I like the way it sounds. It sounds cool. The Other Side, that's a good song. They sound cool.
Can you name 5 songs by them?
Right on the Other Side. What's the song that goes, you know that it would be a lie.
Oh, The Fire, Light My
The
Fire.
Fire song, Light My Fire. And that's about it.
What about The End?
Yeah, I guess so.
The End, he was just super high and he wrote it in the studio. But see, the dude that plays keyboards is like a really good musician, but people like idolize Jim Morrison. And it's like, Jim Morrison hardly sang,
I think
hardly.
is
I don't like his
hardly
whole.
sing. He sings most of the songs.
I know, but is it singing?
I think it sounds cool. I like the way it sounds. That's me.
Okay,
But
but
Jefferson Airplane, they win, obviously.
Jefferson Airplane only wins by my disdain of the Doors.
Jefferson Airplane wins, though, because they won. Only band on this list that has a female lead singer.
Yep.
Hey, look at that. That's sad that we only had one band like that. Probably.
We can pick other ones eventually.
Yeah. Should I talk more about them, or should we move on?
Oh, we'll talk about them when we get back to them.
Yeah, we should save stuff.
Jimi Hendrix, Guns N' Roses. Okay, easy game. Is it easy game?
Not as easy for me as this for you. It's Jimi Hendrix. I know you want Jimi Hendrix to win.
Oh no, are you saying Jimi Hendrix? Can I write it down? Okay, we
You
can
write
talk
down
about
Jimi
it.
Hendrix wins, but for me it's close. I like Guns N' Roses a lot, but Jimi Hendrix wins. He did more for music. That gets coming back to.
Okay, now what about just music wise? Would you listen to Jimi Hendrix or Guns N'
Guns N'
Roses?
Roses actually. I listen to Guns N' Roses, but I can respect. I know what you like, Jimmy, and I'll give that one to you.
But like, okay, so Guns N' Roses is just like.
I don't know, man. Like Jimi Hendrix sounds awesome. Don't get me wrong. Like I love his music. I just really vibe well with Guns N' Roses. November Rain, Paradise City, Live and Let Die. They're all such good songs. I don't know. Just me. All right, next up we got Pink Floyd and Queen. Now this is gonna be a bit closer, I think. You already wanted to write some down on the board. Do you not agree with me saying that?
I don't. I mean, I just thought Pink Floyd would be up there.
Yeah. I think okay. Yeah. I think Pink Floyd wins. I wanted to make it interesting. Pink Floyd wins.
Pink is Floyd.
And we're not gonna talk about them again because we're talking about the band. Why they're so good.
Well, why are we saying
why
Pink's
are they
better than Queen?
Queen? I think because they just sound cooler. Queen has so many good songs, but Pink Floyd just sounds so cool.
Yeah, I mean, Queen just, they made music, pop music, rock kind of music. Pink Floyd made, like, movies. What about their music? The Wall. But, I mean, like, Pink Floyd did...
We should still do a review of The Wall. I've heard it's not a good movie, but we should still watch it and review it.
But, I mean, like, if you look at Pink Floyd and Queen, Queen's, like, it sounds... cool. It fills stadiums. Pink Floyd, like somehow they filled stadiums too. Like I don't know how so many people like them just because it's like such a specific audience. I think
part of it is they have. I'm gonna bite myself in the butt here, but they kind of have a unique sound. It's hard to compare them to other bands, but they kind of have a unique sound. That makes them so popular. If you hear a song, you instantly know, oh, that's Pink Floyd. You know,
yeah,
like that guitar riff. Like
it's all like Roger Waters, pretty much.
Yeah.
But I mean, he also did leave the band.
Who's who replaced him? I was reading a thing about like the split, right? Like where they kind of the two albums where they split apart. I was reading about that. I can't remember what it.
They kind of suck.
Okay, whatever. Oh, whatever. Let's move on.
You get
Next we got Bowie versus the Beatles.
The Bugs.
Now, do you want to talk? Should we talk about this? I think we should talk about this because.
I think Bowie deserves some recognition, but I think the Beatles definitely go up there.
Yes. I'm just worried they're going to have a Beatles sweep. I don't want it to happen.
I don't think so.
I think there's some options here. They're going to go fight against them pretty good here.
Okay, for me, the Beatles don't win everybody on this board. Not even really close.
Okay. Why do they beat Bowie then?
Just because Bowie didn't do enough for most people. Like you said, if you go on the street, ask people who Bowie is, they're going to be like, we sing Under Pressure, we sing Heroes. Yeah. But if you ask Beatles, they're gonna be like, oh, you know, they did that one thing that one time.
Yeah.
Everybody knows about the Beatles. Everybody knows about David Bowie, but I mean, more people can say about Beatles than they can about Bowie.
Yeah, I agree. I think Beatles should win.
I give a lot of credit to Bowie though.
I can enjoy more Beatles songs than I can enjoy more Bowie songs, even though I like both bands. Wow, sneezing on the mic. So rude. Sorry about that, audience. All right, next up we got Led Zeppelin versus Jefferson Airplane. Okay, we didn't talk all about Jefferson Airplane. I'm talking about them real quick. Even though Led Zeppelin wins, okay, obviously Led Zeppelin wins. Okay,
go
fine.
for it.
But Jefferson Airplane, let's talk about them real quick.
You haven't until I'm done drawing the Zeppelin.
Oh, I gotta hurry. Jefferson Airplane, really cool band. They kind of were one, not the first, but one of the earlier bands to do psychedelic rock, which was really cool. Also had a female lead singer, which is pretty cool. They only had two good songs though, which were "Somebody to Love" and "White Rabbit." White Rabbit was really, really good.
Two good songs or two popular songs?
Two good songs. I called them good.
No, I mean, but like, is that the only? You said only two songs. So only two popular songs, only two good songs.
Only two popular songs, which are their two best sounding songs, too, in my opinion. I listened to some other stuff from their. I only have like one or maybe two albums. I gotta look this up now. I don't know. Because there's is it psychedelic?
Well, okay, but then they split into like.
Two different bands,
like,
sure.
Yeah, Starship and you know.
Is it Supersonic Pillow? Is that what it is?
Surrealistic Pillow. Surrealistic Alarm Clock. Surrealistic.
I think that's their only album, actually. Unless
Strawberry Alarm Clock?
Crown Creations one. Never mind, maybe I'm wrong.
What about Point Break, or Point Zero? No, that's a different band. Freedom at Point Zero. Point Break. Freedom at Point Break.
Anyways, White Rabbit, great psychedelic song, very trippy.
Alice in Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderland.
Maybe, I mean, if you're looking for psychedelic stuff, Pink Floyd.
Sure, yeah, but I think just an Airplane probably in some level inspired Pink Floyd. That they aren't as good, but they did their stuff. I think that they had their place in music. I think they did something cool. Somebody to Love, on the other hand, is not really a psych song. It's more of a pop song, but it sounds cool. It's psychedelic rock that's pop and
psych songs are kind of. I mean, like, it's just an open like genre.
It is.
Pink Floyd is psych. Jefferson Airplane, psych. Doors are psych.
And they all sound.
They don't sound that like the Doors especially. It's just like put as many instruments as you can in one song and have like some guy that can hardly sing over it sing and then
can
like
sing
boom.
decently. Okay, whatever.
He's like a karaoke singer, dude. You go to the bar and it's like, oh, this guy's kind of cool.
Yeah. So I think we should do a quick hype up for our last Final Four. Down to the Final Four, the semifinals.
Semifinals, we got Jimi Hendrix,
We got Pink Floyd,
the Beatles,
and Led Zeppelin. So I think we should look at the genres. We got one pop slash, what do you call it, experimental? What would you call later Beatles? Rock, experimental?
Yeah, experimental rock.
So we got pop slash experimental rock, mainly experimental rock. That's what I know.
And classic rock, and then if you want to say metal,
classic rock slash light metal. I'm calling them metal. Psychedelic slash prog rock with Pink Floyd. And then we got, what you call it, acid rock, I guess, Jimi Hendrix.
Acid rock and like the whole guitar, like, you know, making the guitar an instrument.
Okay, that's a pretty aggressive. That's over. That is hyping him up way too much.
Yeah, he found like 800 new ways of how to play guitar.
Just because he played with his teeth doesn't mean he's the coolest
No,
guy
dude,
in the world.
he did so many new things for guitar. This is why he's hardly been winning. Oh, dude, he did so many things for guitar.
Okay, what did he do for guitar?
Like literally
Educate me.
everything.
What's everything?
He like the Hendrix chord. He makes like 100. He makes all the new sounds. He did a whole bunch of like distortion stuff because that wasn't popular back then. Mm-hmm. And like, you know,
but
like, he found a new way to play pretty much. He made his own sound.
He did all that. But is he better than Pink Floyd?
Dude, he didn't live long enough to be better than Pink Floyd, but I mean, one guy, musically I think he's better than the members of Pink Floyd, but creatively I don't think so.
If we see we're going off our favorite music, I gotta say Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd is.
If it's favorite, I like Jimi Hendrix more than Pink Floyd. I don't listen to Pink Floyd, but I like Jimi Hendrix more.
I disagree here. Maybe. We're saying so. I think
Jimi Hendrix barely won the last round, so we can bring Pink along.
You think? Okay, I don't want to just like forge ahead and like saying you have to do what I think is right. I'm just saying I think Pink Floyd maybe. Maybe Jimmy hadn't died, would be better. You know what I mean? If he had done more, I just think look at Pink Floyd, look at Jimmy. They're both so. It's hard to pick at this point, right?
I like Jimi Hendrix.
I like Pink Floyd. Should we like put a coin for it?
No, we already have it written down as
doing Pink Floyd.
Pink Floyd.
Okay, fair enough. Well, then maybe we'll see what Tristan thinks here because I think ready to see where you're going in this next one. So.
I know it's kind of weird that you think that crazy nonsense.
Okay, so we got Beatles versus Led Zeppelin. This is hard.
This is actually pretty hard, but I'd probably say. Let me think. Back to what we were doing. I don't know. I might say Beatles.
Said Beatles. See, I'm torn. I honestly can't decide. To be honest, like I think I almost wanted to say if you say Beatles, I'm gonna abstain.
I don't know. I'd rather listen to Led Zeppelin.
You rather listen to okay, interesting. I thought you'd rather listen to Beatles.
Beatles are alright. They're just Beatles though.
Mm-hmm.
Like after a while, they do just become the Beatles.
That's true. It's just some kind of samey eventually. If there's a lot of it.
I mean, eventually Led Zeppelin has the same exact problem.
Yeah, that's true. Beatles, I think, did more for music. Led Zeppelin did a lot for music though too. Led Zeppelin is metal. Beatles are experimental rock.
They say metal so weird to me. when I hear metal, I think of like.
You
like
think
metal.
of heavy metal. There's a difference between metal and heavy metal, man.
Yeah, but like, why not just call them rock? They're literally just classic rock.
No, classic rock isn't as heavy as metal, but hell.
They're not that heavy as Led Zeppelin's
they're
not that
heavier than
heavy.
rock.
They're not that heavy. No, they're hardly that.
I don't know. Whatever.
I wouldn't call them heavier than like Jimi Hendrix or the Who.
Yeah, but you could argue that, but like the Who didn't like have Jimmy Page's hair either. That's a big part of why they're metal.
I don't know if you've ever seen the Who. They got some hair, dude. And dude, they literally destroyed all their instruments. I'd still call them rock.
The Who's pretty metal.
I would still call them rock.
That sounds kind of metal though.
Yeah, but metal.
Who's metal?
Metal. I mean, just metal's like a whole different thing. But people also call Kiss metal.
Kiss is kind of metal.
I know, but it's like I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, but that's what they are metal. Like they aren't good metal, but they're
like
metal.
Glam rock.
Would you call Poison metal? You could call them glam rock.
I call them glam rock, but they're heavier than Led Zeppelin.
It's a different genre. I don't know. I think you have to call Led Zeppelin heavy or not heavy metal. You have to call Led Zeppelin metal. I don't know.
I'm gonna call Led Zeppelin rock for the rest of my days.
Whatever. So we got. I think I can't pick honestly.
Okay, let's just look at their best. Like, let's look at their best stuff.
Okay, we got for Led Zeppelin. We got
Led Zeppelin 1. It's a good debut.
Good debut.
What is it? Please Please Me or whatever that one is.
Like
whatever the first one is.
Horrible.
Nonsense.
Doesn't matter. It's not good.
Some pop garbage that's like hard to listen to sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Led Zeppelin 2, which had.
What did 2 even have on it?
It had one song, I think. I don't remember. Like one big song. I don't remember though.
Actually, I'm gonna pull up their album.
Then you had What Is Next, like.
Nothing gets good to Rubber Soul with the Beatles. Let's just skip Rubber Soul.
Well then, yeah, let's skip the Rubber Soul and like. Well, we're not gonna. Led Zeppelin had 3, which had Immigrant Song on it. Then they had 4, which is the whole thing is just a masterpiece all the way through. And Rubber Soul is like. Give and take. So, Rubber Soul's give and take. Then Led Zeppelin had. What was after 4? Was it Physical Graffiti?
Physical Graffiti, I think.
Okay, yeah.
That had
Physical Graffiti's pretty cool.
They got Casimir on that.
Casimir.
Other than that,
well, then they got other songs.
House of the Holy.
House of the Holy is good. That's a good album.
That's off of Physical Graffiti.
No, what's the album that's there's not no what's the
House of the Holy is an album.
Yeah.
You're right.
I'm talking about the album. Then the Beatles have.
The song remains the same. That's off the.
But yeah, but then you got like Beatles have Abbey Road, which is pretty good.
Abbey Road is a masterpiece. Sgt. Pepper's is a masterpiece.
Okay, Sgt. Pepper's and Abbey Road that like cancels out the first 4 albums for Led Zeppelin. They still got a lot of other albums going.
But then Beatles also got the White Album, which while it's not as good as Abbey Road and Sgt. Pepper's, it's still good. You know what I mean?
And then they got Physical Graffiti. They got House of the Holy. They got and what's Achilles' Last Stand on? That song's awesome. They got more albums too.
I think it's off of. It doesn't say.
Let me see.
Prescience. So
what does it look like? Can I see it?
Pulling up right now.
What's the album look like?
It's like a man and it's a family.
Oh yeah, that's a good album too.
Prescience.
I don't know what's called that. That's a pretty good album.
Bees album cover. It's cool. And Zeppelin 3. I have on my phone screen. I have 3 and Physical Graffiti.
I just don't know. Beatles are just like. They've definitely got a place, but it's like they get so overhyped.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I kind of don't want them to go through, but
should we flip a coin for it? I got a coin somewhere in my pocket.
Yeah.
Let me see. I only way to this side. I have a coin on me. That was a question. Do you have a coin on you?
I do not. I have a. What's this? Oh, that's not a coin. What's this?
I do have
What's
coins.
this?
Here we go.
I don't have where's my wallet?
Oh,
it's okay. I don't need it.
You don't buy Tristan's wallet. Please mail it to us. Okay, I got a quarter. Heads is Beatles.
Here, flip it on this so it's gonna be loud for the mic.
Tails is Led Zeppelin. Now you flip it on your hand, then you flip it on your wrist.
Well, you could do that. That's boring though.
You ready? Here we go. Heads is Beatles. Tails is Led Zeppelin.
Come on, Led Zeppelin. I went to a Led Zeppelin concert, like a replica.
I'm not gonna look. You're gonna call
it's called Led Zeppelica.
What do you think? What do you think it is?
I'm gonna say Beatles.
Beatles. Okay, Beatles was heads. Here we go.
I wanna look at it. Oh, you don't get to look at it.
I'm looking away. Ready? With my hand up.
Oh, it's tails.
It's tails?
No, it's heads.
It's heads. Oh, come on. Beatles win. Okay, fair enough. So, down to the finals. Tristan doesn't know the right Beatles, apparently.
That's cursive.
Pink Floyd versus
the Beatles.
The Beatles.
The Beatles.
Again, dude, this is hard. My favorite band, 2 of my favorite bands against each other. I honestly, both my top 5 bands.
So the problem is, I remember when I was such a huge Beatles fan, and it's like I know what I would say, but like now it's like I mean like it's just kind of boring. Like a lot of their songs are just kind of boring.
You got that's what we're thinking about. What makes the band bad? I mean, that's what it is. Both these bands are amazing bands. You got to find something bad about them to make them not win. Right?
Pink Floyd is very.
Pink Floyd only has a few good albums.
Well, I mean, but like, I really do like the first album too.
Mm-hmm.
But not, I mean, like.
I remember when we first met, you just played like that one Pink Floyd song, that first album for hours. Mm-hmm. That was hilarious.
Yeah, no, I mean. There's so many. Like, see, the thing is with Beatles, there's not a lot of different eras for them. They had pop
and rock.
than like the experimental.
Pink Floyd really
nonsense.
said they have more than they got.
Well, yeah, because they got the Sid Barrett era.
Mhm.
They got the Roger Waters, and they got like the David Gilmour, whom Roger Waters wasn't like as much. And then and Nick Mason was like hardly there for a few sessions because where was he? I mean, yeah, no, that's a different thing. I was thinking of somebody else, but like you got. I mean, they just came. They went and like they came and went, and like they're still around today. Beatles only had 10 years. Pink Floyd's been around for like 50.
The one thing I can think of too is the quantity of songs, right? I think Beatles definitely has them beat on quantity of good songs. The question is, I think Pink Floyd has a bit more quality, maybe, but is it enough?
Yeah.
Is the fact that they only have maybe 10 really good songs versus the Beatles, let's say they have at least maybe not even 10, you know what I mean? Like,
Pink Floyd has way more than 10 good songs.
but like I'm thinking really good. Like when you think of Pink Floyd, you think of those. You know what I mean?
Okay,
like,
well, Beatles. What are really good songs for Beatles?
Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
No, like
A good song, right?
the song.
Fine.
Okay.
Maybe not the song. Day
I'm
in the
thinking
Life.
Day in the Life. That's a good one.
Would you say
You
Love of My Friends is on that?
No.
Okay, Come Together definitely.
Okay. I guess you can argue Eleanor Rigby.
Eleanor Rigby. What's the one that Let It Be?
Yeah, but see, these aren't like give me's though. Like a lot of people can say this song is not that good.
But
like you look at like
Here Comes the Sun. That song's beautiful. Could you say Little Help from My Friends?
I wouldn't say Little Help from My Friends. I wouldn't say Here Comes the Sun.
I wouldn't say Here Comes. That's like the Beatles song.
It's literally just Here Comes the Sun, do 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 do.
But it sounds so cool.
I don't care how it sounds. It's nothing. It's garbage. It's eating air.
You don't like Here Comes the Sun?
I don't care for it.
What?
It's just
You don't like Here Comes the Sun?
It's just sounds.
Oh
Hey.
man, Here Comes the Sun is so good.
I mean, no, I'll listen to it, but it's like that's not like when I go to my phone and I'm playing Beatles. That's not one of the top like even like that's not like one of the top 100 songs I'd rather
Top
play.
100. You listen to 100 of like the crappy pop stuff before you listen to Here Comes the Sun.
No, I mean like I don't know, man.
Dude, Here Comes the Sun is at least top 10 Beatles song. At least top
10.
I was gonna say top 5, but I said no. There's no
That beats Hey Jude, Eleanor Rigby.
It beats Hey Jude. It doesn't beat Eleanor
In
Rigby.
A Day in the Life.
It doesn't beat Day in the Life is probably number 1 for me. Then after that, it's probably
Come Together.
Come Together. Then I'd say
You like Little Help from My Friends.
Little Help from My Friends. Get Back. What's the other one I just said?
Obla Di Obla Da.
No, I don't know. Yellow Submarine's up there too.
Oh,
What?
no. Next, you're gonna say Octopus's Garden.
Octopus is good. It's not up there, but it's good. Maxwell's Silver Hammer, not up there, but good.
It's such a. I mean, I like that song, but it's so poppy.
Who cares? It sounds good. It's the Beatles.
Well, I know, but like everything in like so we look through everything here as like pure music, as like how it's gonna go, how it affects the future, how it affects the music and all. The Beatles, I mean, they have more effect, but for what reason? Because they're popular, because they're actually worth it. Like, because everybody's inspired by the Beatles, and like a lot of people are inspired by Pink Floyd. But who consistently has people that are influenced by them make better music?
Good question.
I don't know if that's the question we're going for.
If I were to start a band, I would start a Pink Floyd inspired band. So
yeah, but you also think that the number one thing about Pink Floyd is the synthesized sounds.
Well, it's part of it. It's a big part of why I like them. Also, I like their psychedelic qualities, and I like their bass player. The bass playing in their songs. Oh, cool.
Synthesized sound. What do you mean by synthesized sound?
Like how it's like the layers. Like I don't know how to put it into words. I just play the music. Like it's like there's the way it wraps around you. There's like layers to it, and it like envelops you, and it's like.
Who else did you say synthesized sound?
Rush. Rush is different than synthesized sound. They're more like robot noises, which I think also are cool.
I don't know what you mean by synthesized sound. Still, like
How?
Electric Light Orchestra?
Sure, I guess
Sticks.
Sure.
They use synthesizers. So
yeah,
that I mean.
but like when think about for example, I think it was Comfortably Numb. Okay, think how that song goes, right? I feel like the way that the music is like played, it's like slowed down. It's like I don't really have a word to describe it.
But is that like what do you mean by synthesized?
Like the way the music is processed. Like I guess it's not.
But you could play that with an acoustic guitar.
You could,
and it would
but
still
it's
be the same effect.
Yes. But
Like,
maybe I'm making more of the way they like change the sound in the studio after they played it. Because
if you hear it live,
didn't he like play his guitar like into like a synthesizer or something? I heard something about that.
I don't know, but like I haven't heard about that. But like if you hear it live, does it get rid of the effect?
Well, I'm talking about listening to music. I'm personally, I'm not a big fan of live. I like to listen to studio albums because I like to hear like how they would process the music, like how would they arrange it. You know what I mean? They had all the time in the world and everything. You know what I mean? Like
live is such a huge thing.
Live is a huge deal, sure, but how many songs in your life are you gonna listen to performed live, and how many songs in your life are you gonna listen to performed on a studio album?
If they have live albums, I listen to live albums.
Really? You listen to live albums over
that's
studio
them.
albums?
That's because with studio you can literally change anything. Live albums, it's on the spot.
That's why it's hard because you can edit it, you can move it around, you can like change the sound.
But
that's
okay,
cool.
if your drummer goes, you can make that the entire backbeat. I want to hear the drummer go crazy, like in the middle of it randomly. Like, I want to feel the band in sync, like they're like with each other, and then like just randomly, like some guy will just pull out of the music and just start this awesome solo, and then everybody knows like, oh god, I gotta wait for him to be done.
I guess that's cool. I just personally, I don't know, man.
You don't like live albums?
I don't. I genuinely
okay,
don't.
have you listened to Frampton live? Frampton Comes Alive.
I don't think so.
Okay, have you listened to like Talking Heads? The Stop Making Sense. That's a live album.
What is that? I don't think so.
See, you gotta listen
that
to
one sounds more familiar. Right?
You gotta listen to the good live albums.
Actually, I gotta listen to that. Man, I want to listen to like
even Kiss live is better than normal.
I don't know. So you gotta pick a winner. I think we've been arguing a lot. We should pick a winner.
I think we're gonna pick that band.
Should we say it? Wait, what if we what if we didn't pick and just let the listener decide?
Yeah, we don't get enough. We don't get enough interaction.
Interaction.
We don't get any interactions.
You know what? I don't think. Let's both say we think we should win.
Let's both.
And if we disagree,
let's both
that's okay.
come back to this next week.
Oh, actually, that's a good idea. Tune in next week for the conclusion to this.
Oh, and guys, one lucky winner from this week will win $1 million.
Yes.
Wait a second, I got a phone call.
Okay.
Okay. Yep. It's Amanda. She said we can't do that.
Oh.
That's our lawyer.
Okay.
Okay, fine.
Ask about $500,000.
What could we give them? Okay, fine. She said we can give them a pin.
Ooh, a pen.
A pin.
Yeah.
A pin.
A pen.
No, pin.
A peen?
Pin. A pin. They stick into your shirt.
Oh.
So.
Well, thank you.
So this is our chart. It's a cool, hardy artist ranking table.
Yeah. Tune in next week for the conclusion. It's gonna be epic.
Hopefully next week we will have if we have a guest, we'll have him on here.
Yeah, we could get him or her to like say what they think.
And we have a TikTok and an Instagram.
Yep.
And Apple Podcast and Spotify. All at North of No Returns.
Yeah.
And on Instagram it's all uppercase, all lowercase, no space. Alright. This has been the cool dudes from your neighborhood signing out. Peace and serenity.
Peace and love, baby. Peace and love.